Hello and good morning, MYM Insiders. How's everybody doing today? I need to do a quick technology check. Okay, there we go. Looks like everything's going fine. We're here for our Tuesday morning ad clinic, and we only have one submitter of advertisements today. However, that one submitter has submitted multiple ads, and that is Mary Mac Miller. And I'm going to attempt to unmute you. I see you are on a microphone. That sometimes is problematic. Here we go. Ready? Go. Mary, are you there? Yes, that is problematic. Mary, here's what I'm going to ask you to do, assuming you can hear me. If you would please use a telephone and dial the number shown in the screen there, and it'll give you a personal code for an access code, and it'll give you an audio pin that's unique to you, and then that'll allow you to talk to me, because I can't hear you right now. And that happens from time to time when we have the microphone instead of the telephone. So if you would please do that, that would be helpful. As we do that, I'm going to do another quick technology check here. Okay. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the ad. This is from Mac Miller Design Build, award-winning remodelers. And if possible, I'm going to eliminate that so we've got a little more real estate here we can look at. Okay. And we are working on a troubleshoot with Mary to get her so we can actually hear her on this call. So while we're doing that, I guess we'll wait just a minute here. If anybody would like to ask a question or chime in with anything, we have several people on the line. Sorry about that. But I'd be open and willing. All you have to do is raise your hand by clicking the raise your hand button, or you can type something into the chat box. Either way. Good to see you on here, Rich. Oh, and he's raised his hand. Let me see if I can get you on. Rich, are you there? Rich, I'm experiencing the same. Okay, there you are.
How
hey
you
there,
doing?
Rich. Yeah, good. Long time no talk.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
I think you have the longest running tenure on this call. It's got to be 10 years now, at least, maybe 11 or 12.
Yeah, it's about, well, I guess I've been 12 for 13 years now. I signed up 13 years ago.
How's the hearing aid marketing going?
That's been a little slow, but we've got another project we're working on. 4 of us are working on it, and it's taking up all of our time, so I don't miss the hearing aid marketing, but it's very promising. So I really called in to say Happy New Year.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. It's good to talk to you, and it looks like I've got Mary back online here, so I'm going to let you go. But if you've got something else, feel free to type it into the comments box, and we can talk after we deal with Mary. But it's been a while since we've looked at some of your stuff. I'd love to do it.
Okay, well, I'll keep that
Rich.
in mind. You're welcome. Bye.
All right. All right, Mary, I should be able to hear you now. Why don't you say something?
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, sorry about that. This system
No problem at all.
is very robust, except for it has this one Achilles heel, which is this microphone thing doesn't always work. Now, Rich, who was just on a minute ago, was on a microphone, but there may be some settings. I'm not really sure what it is. But anyway, thanks for jumping through a little bit of hoops there and being on with me. Can you see? You should be able to see your ad on the screen right about now.
Okay, I see your picture right now, but I mean, I can just open the ad. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, well, I want everybody to be able to see it, so as we're talking through this, they can have a visual.
Good.
Okay, so we've got 3 different ads here. What I want you to do is I pull each one of them up one at a time. We'll talk about one, and then we'll finish that and move on to the second one. So we'll start with the one here, if that's okay, unless you'd like to start with another one for some reason.
No, that's perfect. Perfect.
Okay, so what I want you to tell me is where this ad is appearing and what's your concern or question about it. Also, we need a little bit of a perspective on how big this ad is. I think I see down here this is a 4.6 by 10-inch ad. So that's basically a half-page ad on a magazine. Is that right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. So tell me about the ad.
Actually 2/3 page, but anyway, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that actually makes even more sense. So tell me what's going on with this ad. Is it working? Where's it? How long has it been going? What's your concerns? What are you thinking?
Okay, so this was a one-off ad. This was we were voted the best remodeler 4 years in a row by a lifestyle magazine in our area. And this is a supplement that announces, it's a separate magazine that announces the winners. And we, since we had already won like 3 years in a row, we took out this ad. And it's the kind of thing where people keep and they file. So for us, it's a very important ad. We wanted to mostly showcase photos of our work as we're remodelers, and so kind of the two photos showing some representative work, a kitchen and a sunroom, and then the call to action is love your home again. The call to action actually is remodel now.
Okay, I would say that's fine. It's not like you want to put a $25 coupon on this type of an ad anyway, so I'm okay with that call to action. Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
You said that what you're really trying to accomplish with this, because here's 2 questions I always ask people when we're looking at an ad. Number 1, what do you want them to know? Number 2, what do you want them to do? And the first question is, what do you want them to know? And you told me pretty explicitly just a second ago that you want them to know that you've won these awards. Is that correct?
Correct. And what I did was I attached to the email the ad that you had recently redone about, voted best remodeler those 4 years in a row. So what I was thinking is to basically redo this ad to reflect the updated ad that you helped us with.
Okay, is that this one?
That's it. Yep, that's it. So in other words, have that basically be the top and just reorder it just so it mirrors that. And I just wanted to make sure that was relevant.
Yeah, I'm kind of laughing over here because I was looking at the original ad, which I'll put back on the screen, and I'm thinking, hey, if you want people to know that you won this award, you got to put it in their face, right? And you've got it sort of buried down here, and you've got this logo that, the eye is very definitively directed towards this headline, love your home, again, remodel now, which in my opinion is it's really a throwaway headline. It's not a headline that makes people hate you or not want to do business with you, but they look at it and they go, okay, whatever. It's a cute little headline. This one over here, yeah, voted best remodeler 4 straight years. I love the all caps. I mean, you got to be really, really careful with all capital letters because they tend to glob up and they become hard to read. But the way that we treated it here with 1 word per line, we've got the period at the end. I mean, this is a power statement if I've ever seen a power statement. I mean, this is not, nobody's excited about this like, hey, we're having a party over here. You're looking at them, your face is serious, and you're telling them, we were the voted the best 4 straight years. And it's a weighty statement with lots of gravity to it. I love it. I think it's awesome. So yeah, okay. I would take this one and I would just make it,
that one.
Obviously, it needs to be wider. And so what you may want to do is, if it's wider, then this really narrow ad works well with this stacked 1 word, 6-line headline. That's not going to work as well if the ad is 4.5 inches wide. So you may want to make it, voted best, and then remodeler, I don't know. I'd have to look at it on the paper to see how that's going to look the best. But probably not exactly the way you have it here.
Okay.
But I also like just, hey, thanks for giving me an opportunity to admire my own work on this call. I mean, that's not
I wanted you to see it. I wanted you to see it in real time.
But I'm just going to point this out for the benefit of those on the call. What I love about this is the powerful headline, but then it rolls right into this Southwest Best Magazine of 14. Now I'm going to compare that to the original, where we've got this up here, where nobody really knows what this logo is. It doesn't obviously tie to anything. So I see it and I'm like, okay, love your home, and I see this picture, and now I'm down here at about the fourth thing, voted best remodeler. Then I have to try to hope that the person ties that back up here to this little logo. But here, I mean, it's super straight. Voted best remodeler 4 straight years. It then shows what the entity was that awarded this title, and then it shows here the years 2011, 12, 13, and 14. So yeah, that's fantastic. The picture is good. You know, you probably in your, what am I trying to say? Your instincts probably say, hey, I'd like to show 2 pictures instead of 1, because that even shows more diversity, different things. Maybe they look at this and think, well, maybe it's just sunrooms and they don't understand that we do the other things. But, you know, I think that you get one good picture in there. The words are going to do the rest of the heavy lifting on this.
Okay. All right. Any other comments on the footer, or just any?
Not really. I mean, I love this ad because it's so simple and it's so small, yet it communicates so much. You know, voted best remodeler. We've got this. We've got the years. We got the picture. They see your name, the colors, the look, the feel, the style, the design is all very professional, high end. It shows who you are just by the way it looks. And then, of course, here's how you get a hold of us. And you've got the Super Service Award. You can look at us on Facebook or on House. I can imagine that there's some people that probably see this and go, ooh, huh, let me check them out on House. You know,
yeah,
and
we
like
have
you
gotten
said,
some traction from that, yeah.
Well, here's the interesting thing, and you already know what I'm about to say, but again, on this type of a call, sometimes I like to say things for the benefit of just the whole group. You know, you said earlier that this is the kind of ad that people will, you didn't use this exact word, but I'll put words in your mouth a little bit. They'll rip this ad out and save it. They'll put it in their file. And what you've done is you've given them this opportunity to do that digitally. Maybe in addition to physically ripping the ad out, but maybe they don't even rip it out anymore. They just say, oh, well, let me go check these guys out on House or on Facebook, and then, boom, digitally, they filed you. So I like this. It's fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
In fact, it's so fantastic that when you go to this size ad, I probably wouldn't try to add any additional text or, you know, a short paragraph. Hey, we won this, blah, 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 blah. Just, you know, it's pretty self-evident. Now, you've been running this ad. Have you seen anybody mention it? I mean, this isn't necessarily the kind of ad that people see it, they call you and go, hey, I'm looking at your ad in this magazine. This is more the kind of thing that, like you said, they swipe it, they put it away, they call you later. Maybe you get a Google search on your name 3 months from now, or maybe they check you out on Facebook or House or something. Have you seen any uptick from this at all? It's such a small ad.
Yeah, we have seen an uptick in that, or let's just say evidence. Like, I was recently at a client's house, and she had probably 3 or 4 of our ads cut out in a file.
Awesome.
You know, and then, you know, someone will call and they'll say, we always ask them how you heard about us, and then they say things like, we see you everywhere. So, which is interesting because we actually only advertise in this one particular magazine, but we are definitely have a presence on House, so that's good.
Well, anytime somebody says we see you anywhere, you know what that really means? What that really means is they saw you somewhere and it struck a chord with them, and now it's in their mind. And I won't get into the psychology of alpha mode, beta mode, reticular activator, the concept of mindfulness, but in very short and easy to understand terms, what it means is they're now looking for you subconsciously, and so they find you all over the place. And that's fantastic.
Yeah,
that means that you've done something right along the way.
Yeah, we're very pleased with how things have panned out. This is our 11th year, and actually we just celebrated our 11th anniversary. So my favorite word these days is traction. We're starting really to get some significant traction. So
that's funny. You don't normally hear people talking about celebrating their 11th year, but congratulations anyway.
Yeah, thank you.
We just passed our 20th year, but we didn't actually stop and celebrate. So, oh well, maybe when we hit 30. Okay, the cure for white wall syndrome. This is a really interesting ad. I have an immediate affinity for this ad. I think it's really cool. It kind of takes that same approach that we just talked about a minute ago, which is less is more. Let's say something profound, and then let's let them fill in the blanks. And, this is really interesting, the cure for white wall syndrome. My only concern about this ad is that it may be construed as an interior design ad.
Okay.
But I love the photo. I love how there's orange, very deliberate orange and deliberate green and deliberate. Now, gosh, on my screen it looks yellow, and then you got the brown of the floor, and you got the sort of white color coming through the window. I mean, it illustrates this concept. It brings it to life. I think it's really, really interesting. But what is your thought about people mistaking it for a interior design ad?
Well, the particular magazine that it's in, it's mostly, frankly, builders and remodelers. That's pretty much, what the editorial copy is. It's really strictly builders and remodelers. They really don't profile.
So there's a built-in context there based on the publication.
Correct.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, I mean, the photo on the bottom left, I look at that, and my initial impression is that's nice looking craftsmanship, but it doesn't really go with the headline "Cure for the White Wall Syndrome." It looks more like a beige wall.
Yeah,
I'd be more impressed if.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that mosaic have a little color in it. Obviously, it doesn't, so you can't, fake that, or you wouldn't want to. But in terms of it communicating, high class, quality, style, elegance, it certainly does that. What specific questions do you have for me on this?
I just wanted you to frankly look at the layout, look at the headline, and just kind of give me some feedback. That's about it.
Let me ask you this. This runs in a certain magazine. How often does the magazine come out?
About 6 times a year.
Okay, and how much does it cost to put this ad in there? I'm assuming this is a full page ad. Is that right?
It is.
How much does it cost to go in there?
It was actually like $2,000, and Marvin Windows, because we use Marvin Windows exclusively on it in this project, I think they're going to pick up between 25 to 50% of the ad.
Wow, for putting their logo on there, that's awesome. Now, is that per time it runs, or is that per year?
Per time it runs.
Okay, so it's roughly $2,000 though. Is that correct?
Yep.
And how big is the magazine? And here's where I'm going with this. I'm wondering if it would be worthwhile to at least explore putting a couple of different ads in the same magazine at different parts of the magazine. Or I'm just thinking here. Here's what I'm not doing, Mary. I'm not saying, hey, you should do this. I'm just kind of thinking, okay?
Yeah.
So just kind of go with me on this. Or here's something that we've done in the past in a similar situation. It may or may not be cost effective depending on the magazine. But you go to the magazine and say, we'd like to take this ad and we'd like to split it into 2 half-page ads. We want both ads to appear at the top of the page, not at the bottom. And we'd like them to appear at different parts of the magazine. And let's say it's a $2,000 ad. If they say, okay, we can do that, it's still $2,000, $1,000 a piece. You're not out any more money, but now you've got twice as much coverage. And if they say, well, we can do that, but we're going to upcharge you, then it really becomes, well, how much are you going to upcharge me? Because you can do a lot with a half-page ad.
Yeah.
Now, here's some elements to consider. And I'm just giving you really general elements here that may or may not apply to your situation. So just keep that in mind as I talk through this, okay? One of the biggest things that's going to determine that is how hungry the magazine is. And you can look at that. The easiest way to tell how hungry a magazine is to take the last, say, get one issue for the last, say, 4 years or something like that, and look how thick the magazine is from year to year to year. And if you see it's getting progressively thicker, that means that they're probably not as concerned about getting your business. If you see it staying about the same, or certainly if it's getting thinner, then they're probably getting a little more desperate to get your business. My guess is that over the last 4 years, this magazine's gotten thicker as the economy has rebounded. But you never know without looking.
Yeah.
But it might be interesting. You know, you're such a nice person, and I don't say that to mean that I think you are a pushover at all. However, you know, I look at this and I know how I negotiate with sales reps particularly, and you know, I'd be interested in going to them and saying, look, here's how this is going to work. We're going to split this ad in half. We're going to pay you $2,000. I want it to appear in 2 different places, and here's your choices: take it or leave it. Now, that may be a little, you know, over the top, but here's what I love about that strategy. Even if it costs you a little bit more money, you're now in that magazine twice. They see you twice. You've got one that says, because you know what you can do here, right? The cure for the white wall syndrome, and you can take and you can put your logo and phone number and stuff down there in the lower right-hand corner where that table is.
Yeah.
And then you can take another one and you can have another, what I would suggest if you went that route, and again, Mary, I'm telling you this, not just for your benefit, but for others who are on the call who can take this principle, okay? But I would take and keep it in the same theme. In other words, I wouldn't put the same headline, The Cure for the White Wall Syndrome, but I would try to come up with another headline that was similar to that sort of cute, clever, interesting, catchy kind of a headline and photo. So it may be something like, we've got the cure for white wall syndrome. Maybe we come in and say, you know, add a little color to your life and your living room or whatever, right? And I'm not saying that's it, but something that subconsciously people are going to connect, because the background color on the top is going to be purple. The font color and size and color and look is all going to be the same. So what we do is we start subconsciously tying these two ads together, and they go, wow. And now instead of hitting them once as they read through this magazine, boom, you hit them twice. Just something to think about. I'm a big lover of frequency.
No, I agree with you.
I'll give you a little story on this. And again, situations are different, times are different. Magazines may or may not be willing to play ball. But in this particular case, we had a customer that was actually a sunroom company. It was a four-season sunrooms dealer. And they were advertising in the Clipper magazine. Again, a completely different type of magazine. I understand that. But they were advertising consistently every issue with a full-page ad, and they were getting a certain number of responses. And we did exactly what I'm talking about. We split their ad into 2 different ads. Half-page ads. We negotiated for them to be placed at the top, so when people are flipping through, they don't necessarily see the bottom, but they see the top. And theirs was more of a direct response kind of a situation. We advertised a free sunroom idea guide, and we literally doubled the leads just by having 2 ads.
Wow.
Now, again, that doesn't mean, hey, split your ad in 2 and you'll get twice the leads, but you'll definitely get twice the impressions, right? Because that's how that works.
Yeah, the exposure.
So, just something to think about. I mean, if you look at this ad, there's nothing happening at the bottom of this ad that you couldn't just slide up to the lower right-hand corner, make it very subtle. You know, Mac Miller Design Remodeling, put your phone number. You can just make that stuff smaller. Maybe put the Marvin logo over there on the bottom left-hand corner where the floor is, so that Marvin is pleased that the logo is sufficiently, you know, visible, right?
Yep.
And then, you know, another ad with another one of these pictures, or maybe both pictures on the second ad with a footer this time that has, you see what I'm saying? If we made these other 2 pictures a little bit bigger, but we had to crop them just a little bit so they would fit, and then we could put a purple footer across the bottom of the ad if it was a half page, and it would have your name and stuff and the logos and the numbers and all that, because just the way that those pictures are not quite as tall, they're a little bit wider. And then what I would do, if I were you, I would sit down with a piece of paper and a pencil and I would get with either yourself, just by yourself, or if there's somebody else that has some creativity in your company, which I'm sure there is because you create this kind of stuff. And I'd say, hey, let's just brainstorm, 5 or 10 different headlines that we could put with these pictures, and then vote on them internally and let it rip. Just something that's, like I said, a little bit cute and fun and consistent with the first one.
Okay. All right.
Food for thought, Mary.
I appreciate the feedback. I do.
One other thing that you probably can't integrate into this because the magazine is integrating the winner of the thing for 4 years in a row, but if you put that into a different magazine, that probably creates a conflict. Is that true?
And the other thing is I just thought it would be probably a little bit.
Hey, we won an award from another magazine, so we're going to tell you in this magazine.
All right. I just thought, I didn't think that was.
That may be a little, that may be pushing some boundary. No, I like to push boundaries, but that may be pushing one a little too far.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, what else can I help you with today?
That's it. This was very, very helpful.
Now, if memory serves, you guys are somewhere down there in Los Angeles. Is that right?
Minnesota, actually.
Minnesota. As I was saying Los Angeles, the word Minnesota came into my mind. Are you in the Minneapolis area?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. Well, interesting. As your company continues to grow, if you have the ability to, fulfill on more and more orders, it'd be interesting to see this advertising efforts expand and get bigger and bigger. But, it's really hard for remodeling companies to grow 2 or 3 times over a 2 or 3 year period of time because, it's hard to fulfill at the high quality that you're used to those, that additional amount of work. But here's why I'm telling you this. It's just on my brain. I just got done talking the other day to a high-end remodeling company in a different city. They're not in Minnesota. They're in the Midwest, and they're actually quite large. They do, I think, about 12 million, which it's not, I guess, ginormous, but for remodeling, that's pretty big.
That's a lot. That's big for us, yeah.
But you know how they got big? They're good at what they do, and they've only been in business 5 years, and they're at 12 million. And actually, they stuck at 12 million last year. They were at 12 million the year before and 12 million last year because they had to sort of slow down and stop a little bit and get their systems up to speed so they could handle more growth. But they got there by going on TV and radio. And
really,
you want to talk about everybody knows us? Well, in their town, everybody knows them, and it's not necessarily really true because you spend a little, or in their case, a lot of money on radio and TV, and there's still a lot of people that don't know you. But gosh, the sphere of influence is so much greater because at some point, what you've got to do is you've got to take your advertising dollars and get the biggest bang for the buck in terms of reaching the qualified prospects that you're trying to reach for the lowest amount of money per contact, and then hit them with consistency and frequency. So you talk about putting 2 ads in one magazine. Well, what if you were on a radio station and it was the same type of people? Now, the main difference, of course, is people that are looking at a remodeling magazine are more ready to remodel, and people that are on a certain radio station, while they may have the right demographic, they may not be in the market to think about remodeling right now. But the advantage is there's, 20, 50, 100, 500 times more people you're talking to. And you're doing it at a very low cost as you do that. If you look at my blog, some people have I don't want to use the word complain, but I've received comments that are sort of complaining comments that you seem to spend a lot of time on radio and not as much, but sometime on TV. And I always tell people that's because that's how you take a business from a nice, what I call mom and pop business that does a nice online, good referrals, good repeat, good word of mouth, good social media, keeping your business full. That's how you take it from that to just, 2, 3, 4 times bigger. You just got to get the word out to more people. And that's probably not appropriate for most companies at a given moment in time, but it's something to be thinking about, right? So we've been in business for 11 years and we do X dollars of sales and things are going good and we're getting some traction. Okay, good. Now, can we take, 500 at a minimum, or 1,000 would be better, dollars a month, that we just realistically, for the first year, you kind of throw it away. You kind of throw it away for the first year, but it's not really true that you're throwing it away. That's like saying that you're throwing seeds away when you plant them in the ground. You don't get to use them and you can't do anything with them for a while, but they're doing something in that ground. But that's how you start moving it up to the next level. And you talk about traction. You talk about people calling you out of the blue and going, hey, I've been holding this file with your ads in it for 2 years. You go over to their house and they open up a file folder and you see all these cut out things. Well, what we're doing now is we're sticking these ads in their mental file folder. But instead of them seeing it once or twice in a year, now they're hearing it, once or twice a week. Anyway, just you didn't call in to hear me talk about that, and I'm not telling you to do that, but just it's on my mind, so there I am talking about it.
Oh no, I appreciate the feedback. I wrote it down and I'll doodle it around.
Anyway, thanks for participating. If there's nothing else, I guess I'll let you go.
Thanks so much for your help. I really appreciate it.
All right, Mary. And we have some time. We've got a bunch of people on the call. If anybody would like to ask a question, I will take any questions that come up right now. And if we don't have any questions, then we'll be done. It's just that simple. Pretty simple process. This is where you can either raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or you can just type it into the little comments thing. Okay. I'm going to take that as nobody has any questions. All right, one last check here. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for participating today. Hopefully there was some value in that for you, and we will talk to you next week. I'll be back for a webinar next Tuesday that is an Innovation Hour webinar. We're going to talk about innovating service businesses. So give me a listen then. We'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye-bye.